Hey Mech Warriors, welcome to Bad Ben's Battle Mechs. I'm Bad Ben, and today I want to show you how you can make your very own custom Hexmaps using Gimp. So these are a couple of the maps that I've made. That one was, I call that Dry Riverbed. You can see there's a little boat here. If you zoom in, there's a lighthouse over here. I personally used the game Cities Skylines to make these maps. But you don't have to use Cities Skylines. You can use literally any image you want and put it in here. I just thought Cities Skylines is pretty useful because it has a good terrain editor and you can place down a lot of buildings, so you can also make big urban maps like this one. This is another one I made. And I'm pretty happy with it. And this, I got these actually printed out onto 180 gram paper at the local print shop. And I wanted to show you what the final result looks like also, if you were to get these printed as well. Just so you know, like I took screenshots from a game, and so they're a little pixelated. Also, I made these lines thicker than they are on a regular battle map, the regular map sheet from BattleTech. Also, another disclaimer about these maps. Usually on BattleTech map sheet, this side and this side have both kind of almost half hexes. They're not actually quite full half hexes, and it actually makes it a little annoying when you put them together. Using this method, I got something that I liked better. Actually, I didn't do anything. It just turned out like this. But I actually like it better because if you were to take two maps and put them next to each other, this side and that side lines up to make a perfect hex. It's really good. And also, this side are almost full hexes, so you can actually use them if you feel like it. So that gives you an extra line of hexes. Otherwise, they have the right amount of full hexes from edge to edge is 15 and 17 from top to bottom, and they're the right size. This one at least is 18 inches by 22 inches, which is pretty much what the standard BattleTech map sheet is. This one also is the same size, but I made this one, and it's quite a bit bigger. So it's 18 inches wide, but it's 32 inches long. And I got that printed out just fine, and there's no reason I can't play on this. So before we move on, before I show you, just so you can see what the final product looks like, I will... What am I doing here? I'll show you what the maps look like when they're printed. So this is what the maps look like when they're finished. I think they look pretty good. From this distance, they look great. If you get really close up, you can see it's a little pixelated, but I don't usually play that close. Also, the lines on these maps are thicker than they would be. Come on, focus. There we go. And I got the other one. I'll just lay that across. So that's what that one looks like. And I really like them. I haven't played on them yet, but I don't see why there should be any problems with it. Yeah. So you can take a close look up at the buildings. That was a lot of fun to build. All right. So now on to show you how to do it yourself. Maybe if I can pause it. All right. Okay, so we're going to start with the Gimp stuff, because that's probably, that's the part most people probably don't know. A lot of you probably know how to use City Skylines or get an image from some other place somehow. What I thought would be really cool is if you could get like a drone with a camera pointing straight down, and you can actually go take real-life pictures of landscape and then make them into a hex map. You could do that. You can do anything you want. So we're going to start with a new picture, and we're going to change that to inches, and we're going to change the width to 18 inches and the height to 22. And it's telling me that's too big, but that's not really a problem. So this is our background. This is just to get the image the right size. Now we're going to go to layer. I don't know what any of this stuff does, but doesn't really seem to matter. So we have our background and our layer. Also, this program is Gimp. It's a free online program. You can just go and download it. Then with our layer selected, we're going to go here to filters, distorts, and then mosaic. And this window will pop up. It's likely that this preview button will be selected, and then it'll give you a preview of what it's doing. Right now, those aren't hexes, but we'll get them to hexes. So you can click on the preview, but also while you're making the changes, I suggest taking off preview because it'll start doing it all in the background and it could slow down your computer. Anyway, I have it all saved. It'll save your last used ones, so you can just save the presets. Okay, actually, before we get into that, I need to talk about PPI. So when I made a new, I could have gone to advanced options, and this is pixels per inch, right? And this is set to 300. You don't have to set it to 300, but that's a pretty good resolution. And this is quite important for your tile size. So it has to be set to 300. Or if you want a different PPI, I'll show you. This tile size, if it's for every 100 pixels per inch, needs to be set to 130. So we're at 300, so it's 3 times 130, giving us 390. So if your pixels per inch are at 300, like mine, you need to set the tile size to 390. That's the only thing that can change depending on what your PPI is or whatever. Well, actually, other things can change. But anyways, first of all, also tile geometry, hexagons. Obviously, we want hexagons. Tile height, you want to set to 0, and you can just type in what you want here, right? So I can just go 1, enter, and that's 1. Neatness needs to be set to 1 as well, which is all the way up. Color variation set to 0. Color averaging, I don't know if that really makes a difference, whether it's on or off. Mine's off, and that seems to work. Tile spacing. This is how thick the how thick the black lines are. The ones I had printed were 7. So that is thicker than what you get on a standard battle sheet. What you get on a standard battle sheet is more like 3. So we'll do it with 3. And then skip the joints color, or the joints color should be black, or whatever color you want the hex lines to be. If you want some other color, choose that. Then if you choose light color, you got to click here, and this A has to go all the way down to 0. And you click OK. Everything else, I think, doesn't really matter. And if we click a preview here, it will start. Oh, I'm really zoomed in here. But I actually don't want to click the preview. I'm going to click OK, and it's going to start this little thing. And it looks like it's not going to take very long at first, but it's going to take a good 5 to 10 minutes. So I'll be back when that is ready. All right, so the hex grid is finished. And you can see these lines are quite a bit thinner than the ones I put on my maps. Next thing we're going to do is click on the background layer, right click, and delete the layer. Now we have a transparent hex map, and you might want to save this as where do I want to save? Here. And hex template, save it as like a hex template, and then you can use it over and over. You don't have to regenerate it each time. But I don't need to do that. So we have the hex template. Now we need an image. Now I have a bunch of screenshots that I took in Cities Skylines. So I'll just open up this one. Open with Gimp, but we can't just put it in to here right away. We need to do a few things to it before it will fit properly. So we have to go to image, going to scale the image, and we're going to make sure that it is the same size and the same PPI. Well, actually, probably doesn't really matter if it's the same PPI. Not really sure about that. Anyways, for this, the height has to be 18 because that's actually going to be the width. And if your screenshot is the same size as mine, or if your picture or whatever it is, then it would be 18 by 32, right? And we'll scale that. And I want to flip it, and I'm going to flip it counterclockwise because I want this part of the map, I want the top part to be the map. I want to cut off this bottom part. That's going to be the next thing we do. Get the crop tool and just go like this. Come over here to this little window, change this to inches, and it'll be 18 wide because if you have it, right, otherwise you can, adjust it with this thing. And we'll just type in 22 and crop, and then layer to image size. And that's ready. That's all done. So what I can do is just save it as, and I'll save it. Here in these temporary things. It's temporary. I'll replace it. It's actually the same one I used before. And we can close this. Then simply find the file where you saved that and drag it over in here. And make sure that it is below that layer. If it isn't, there's no hexes. If you drag it below, there are the hexes. And so now you have a nice hex map. But that's not all we have to do, right? There are things like level, right? So I want this top part. This is kind of like a mountain coming down. So this one has to be level 4, and then level 3, and then this is a little bit of work, all right? But we can do it fairly easily. There's not much to it actually. So we'll start by just writing in. This is going to be, all right, LV4 for level 4. Choose your font. I downloaded this BattleTech old style font. Choose the size you want. This is probably a little bigger than what's on a regular map, but I'm old, my eyes are bad, so I like them bigger. And we'll just line it up where we want. And this is the only one that you really have to make sure is center. So if you want to go ahead and really, make sure it's super center. I'm not going to at the moment, but there's rulers up here, right? You can also, if you just click here and drag out, you can get these markers. So you can put one there and then put another one here and measure like really precisely, right? But I don't want to do that. I'm just going to do it by eye, and I'll show you how to line all the other ones up perfectly. So all you have to do is make sure this one is good enough, and that's good enough for me. I want it maybe a little lower, closer to that line. There, that's fine. So we'll just pretend that's perfectly centered. Now I'm going to copy that, and I will paste a new one here. Now here's where on BattleTech maps usually it's very clear which level is which. If you do it like this, you can probably do it so that it's very clear, or you can just kind of eye it. I just kind of eye it because these maps are really just for me, and I know why I did it, and it makes sense to me, so that's it. My reasoning for why this is level 4 is because it has a little bit more of this level than it does of that level. So that's going to stay level 4, right? And we'll put another one. We can just put another one here, and we can change that to level 3. That's going to be level 3. And we'll also put, this is going to be a level 3. So we'll change that to level 3. Oops. And that'll be a level 3. Okay, so they're all in the hexes, but they're not really well lined up. So how do we get them lined up? And we're going to use the alignment tool. I'm going to press Q to get the alignment tool. That's what it looks like. You can also find it up here, I think, in, I don't know, transform align, right? So, first of all, we're going to get this one in the center. According to, if this one is in the center, we'll get this one into the center. So we have to know how far over it needs to be. And I know, I did a bit of calculation, I'll show you how I did it, that this has 16 full hexes from side to side. I want one in each hex, right? I'm going to get my calculator out here. And I know that it is 5,400 pixels wide. So we'll just do 5,400 divided by 16. And that's going to get to be 337.5. Now we can't offset by 0.5, so we have to decide 337, 338. It really doesn't matter. That half a pixel isn't going to matter. So what did I say? 337? 337. We'll put in that offset. X, that's the horizontal. And this has to be relative to first item. And the first item we're going to click on is going to be this. Oh, I got a problem here. I'm clicking on it and I don't see the boxes. But I know why. It's because this layer is on top of all these levels. And the only thing you have to do is just bring it down and make sure that your levels are on top of that layer. Now, when I click on it, it gets the little box. So that's my first item. Second item, I'm going to shift and click to select it. And now I'm going to go into this distribute section, and I want these edges, the left edge, to be distributed by an offset of 337. So just push that, and that's perfect, right? To get this one aligned with this one, since they're right on top of each other, all I have to do is click on this one, shift click on that one, and we'll press that button, right? And that will this will just line up these edges. And you can actually go and click on this one and then this one. You can do the whole line and then select them all and do it like that. Now, to get this to the same level, lower down to the same height as this one and this one too, we're going to do the same thing. I know that this picture is 6600 pixels and it has 17 full hexes. So we'll divide it by 17 and we actually get 388.23. So 388 is fine. And that will be the offset Y. So 388. And we just click on this one, shift click on that one, and we'll click the top, right? And it offsets it. If I were to click this one, it would offset it by this much. Whoops. Sorry, didn't mean to do that. And since we know that the full hex, that this is going to be exactly halfway down, right? Then we only need to do 388 divided by 2 is 194. So we can offset by 194. Click on this one, shift click on this one, click the height. That was wrong. I clicked this button. I should have clicked that one. Now it's perfectly lined up. Right? You don't want to, if this is the distribute, this part down here is going to use these numbers. This part is just going to align it perfectly, right? And then I can click on this one, shift click on this one, and I can align them so they're perfectly aligned. And I know that the offset is 388. And I can click that and they're perfectly aligned. And so you can just go along and paste and paste and paste and change them. Okay, I know this is going to be a level 2 maybe, and that'll be a level 2. And you can easily just go level 2. Or you might want to then go, select that, copy that one, and instead paste that one in here and delete this. Come on. And then just align all these ones, right? I can align this one. No, I need the alignment tool. Align that one, and that one, and that one. Click them like that so they're all in the center. And click this one and offset them like that. And click this one and distribute it like that. And so on and so forth. Right? And that should be level 4. That should be level 2. And you can do the same thing with the light cover and rough and whatever you want. So that's how you get those in there and how you do the hex map. And that's pretty easy. Then, if you want to print this out, if you want to bring it to a printer like I did, or you just so happen to have a really huge printer at home that can make really nice maps, then if you do have that, then I probably don't need to explain this part. You are going to want to export it as a PNG, and I'm going to call this desert oasis.png. I'll put it in my finished folder, but I won't really because I already have one called desertoasis.png. I'll call it number 2. And I'll export it, and then this little thing comes up. I don't know what any of that means. I haven't really touched it. Just press export, and that'll take a it'll take a while to do. And then I'll cancel that. You have your finished PNG pictures. This one I can delete. And you can put it on a USB stick, take it to your printer, and you'll want to get it on printed probably 180-gram matte paper. That's a good thickness. And get it cut borderless. It costs $5 per map for me, maybe a little more, $5.50, something like that. It's not too expensive. It's a bit of an investment and a bit of time if you want to do it. Anyway, that's how you make the hex maps, your own custom hex maps in Gimp. Now, if you would like to see how I got my photo in Cities Skylines, I will do that now. Just give me a minute. What? All right, got City Skylines booted up. First of all, I'm going to go over the mods you're probably going to want if you want to take pictures. If you want to do it like this, you know. First of all, Big City, that'll let you unlock the entire map, so you can use everything, every part of it to take screenshots. This one, very, very important. Cloud and fog toggler, disable clouds and distance fog, because when you zoom out, there will be like clouds and stuff in the way, and you want to be able to toggle that on and off. So you want to get that one. What else do I have on? Extra landscaping tools. Absolutely, you want extra landscaping tools. Otherwise, it's going to be a lot more difficult. Find it can be really, really easy. Oops, wrong. Find it can be very useful in searching for assets. It was really useful when I was making that city, the big city map, because I can just search for whatever I want. What else do I have on? Unlimited money. You probably want that on. Unlimited soil. Unlock all progression milestones are always unlocked. You probably want that on. Unlimited trees mod, that's not that important. You don't need to place that many trees. Unlock all wonders and landmarks. It's just so that you have more buildings to work with. So those are the mods you're probably going to want. And we're going to go into new game, and I'm going to pick, I don't know, you can pick really anything you want. I've never really looked at this one. We'll pick the first one on the list. Sanube. All right. Just a second. All right. Are we back? Yeah. Yeah. This always comes up, a bunch of errors and so on. All right. I'm a megalopolis. Excellent. So the first thing I'm going to do is come out here and I'm going to buy all of the land. That's why you might want unlimited money. And this big city option lets you use the whole map. Otherwise, I would only get 9 tiles. So you come out here, you find a neat spot like, oh, that actually looks pretty cool over here. And don't worry about this line. If you want to use this right here, you can actually just do it like this. Make sure your camera is pointing straight down. This would actually, I think, be a really neat map. Now, it's so easy. All you have to do is click here for the full camera mode. I click F12 because I'm using Steam. Finished. Another couple things you probably want in options. Turn off the edge scrolling so that you can, when you're taking a photo, you get it perfectly lined up and then you put your mouse to the edge and then it's all screwed up. So if you take off edge scrolling, you can just use ASDW to move around. I turned off use dynamic weather. That just makes clear pictures, and also use day-night cycle. I just wanted the light always bright. So I did that. Now, now here, right, we'll go back to GIMP. Now all I would have to do is go into my screenshots, find your screenshots folder wherever it is. Not that, this one, and open it with GIMP. And that's the picture I just took. Now we'll do it again, what we just did. We will scale the image to 18 high. 18 high now because we're going to flip it, right? So scale. Also, when you're taking your picture, remember that this isn't going to be the full map sheet, you know? If you want to print it like that, that's no problem. But if you want it regulation size, so we'll transform it. I'm going to rotate it clockwise because I want this part with this nice lake on a map, right? So all we got to do is crop it. Go here, make sure that this is in inches. 18 by 22 is the regulation size. Click there, go to layer, layer to image size. Now it's finished. All you have to do is save. Right? And I'll use my hex grid again. We'll get rid of that. I can discard the changes. But my hex grid, my other hex grid is here, hex template. Simply open that, right? And we can actually get, did we save that? Yeah. So where's the temp? Over here, temp files, it was that. I should name it something better than that, right? We got the wrong one selected. Get the hex grid selected. Bring in this picture. And there we go. We have a new BattleTech map. Now, if you're thinking, oh, it would be neat to place a few things down, right? Like I want to put some rocks, some big pillar-like things, some of these. And you put one there, and you put one there, and you put one there. Now, if you want them to get lined up with the hex grid, actually, if you're going to put stuff like that, you might want to move in a little farther. And then that one will be taken out. Anyway, what you're going to have to do is take an image, bring it into GIMP, arrange it, look at it, right? Get rid of this one. Doodly-doo. So where's my screenshots? There's where. That's the one. I will open that with GIMP. And I have to do the exact same thing. Scale the image, make sure it's in inches, up to 18. Scale it. Transform it. Crop it. 18 by 22. Click here. Layer to image size. Save. In the temp file, and I'll test 1. Right, now we can come over here. Doodly-doo. Go to the temp file, test 1, bring it in here. And we're going to look. Is that in a hex? That's mostly in a hex. That's all right. But if you want it a little better, this one also, it could be a little more centered. So then all you have to do is come back into City Skylines. Actually, I like to put this back on its side so that it's rotated the same way as it is in the game. And I can say, okay, this needs to come a little more left, right? So I'll build another one slightly more left, bulldoze that one. And what about this one? I want that to come slightly down and to the right. Right, so I'll build another one slightly down and to the right. Destroy the original, and hopefully those are a little more lined up. If they're not, do it again. Do it again. Do it again. I've done it so many times. That big city map was hell to get those roads lined up perfectly with the hex grids, but it's possible. You can do it. Also, you don't have to use City Skylines. I'm sure there's other games or programs where you can edit maps like this and so on and so forth. But City Skylines has a few pretty good advantages. I like it's nice and bright here. I haven't shown you at all the terraforming. Maybe you want to make this like a little more clear where, you know, what's level 1 and level 2. So we'll come over here to the brush, make the brush like that. And if you have this thing, the flattened terrain, it makes hills that look very much like BattleTech hills, actually. So you click, if you right click, it'll change the terrain height to whatever the terrain height is where you're clicking, right? So if I want to expand this, I just right click there, and then you can say, okay, that's level 3. And then a little higher, you can just move that slightly higher and start doing something like that and say, okay, that's level 4, right? Or whatever. It's not really important. Uh, but that's why City Skylines, I think, is really cool. You can make good levels. There's a lot of buildings to put down, right? There's all of this stuff. I can put down stadiums or parks or buildings, and there's like and then with all the mod, this is Find It, right? If here's my ploppables, these are the options I have to work with in City Skylines. It's just and this is, I don't have all assets, I don't have all mods. There's way, way more out there. There's airports and industrial things, and you can make it's very, very flexible. And I find it's really good that the camera can look straight down, can go to lots of different uh, heights, and then it has this kind of built-in free camera mode. I think that's built in. I hope that's not a mod. If it's a mod, you need the free camera mode mod. So that's why I like City Skylines. It's really easy to use. All right. Well, I'm going to quit this now. And I think this video is running a little long. So, I think I've covered pretty much everything. How to make the grid, how to make the layer, right? Your hex layer. You can just delete. Delete that. How to make this and save it as a hex template and bring in any picture you want. It definitely doesn't have to be from City Skylines. I think City Skylines is cool. But you can literally use anything you want and make a hex map of your very own. You can take a picture of your own face and play a game on it if you feel like it. All right, so that brings me to the end of this video. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you next time. Bye-bye.